Hi, and welcome back to part 2 of my overly drawn tutorial series. So these are the middle trials of Trial of the Sword, and in my opinion this is the easiest one. And as you can tell, this video is shorter than the one that we did previously, simply because we struggle a lot less. So in this first room, the first thing you want to do is head over to the left, because that'll be the first available weapon. Because of the nature of this room, with the gusts blowing upward, you actually can't use bombs, at least not as easily, because the bombs, they float back up and you won't be able to land any hits on them. What I'd like to do is just, take the Boko club. There's an archer over there, but he's of little consequence. We're definitely going to need his bow for later, as well as the one on the floor below us. But yeah, just keep using this little meteor smash thing that I've been doing over and over and over again. AoE attack knocks them up. It's just perfect for usage. Really, just a really effective move to use. And since it's a Boko, it's a Boko club, you don't have to worry about durability because you're not going to use it for that much longer. Anyway, so yeah, I was disappointed there was nothing in those crates, but there are arrows here. In fact, I believe all of the crates and barrels in this particular room is all arrows, so you can tell what they're trying to recommend you guys to do in the coming floors of this part of the trial. As well, I believe there's also iron shrooms available. Well, no, an iron shroom, as well as a silent shroom, for all the good that does. Anyways, since you get all those gusts of wind, it's really easy to get the updraft and just go slow-mo, bullet time. This really shows off how many times I was missing. Again, I was super excited because a lot of people were watching at the time. So nervous. Anyways, this is floor 2. Now, this one was a bit luck of the draw. Thankfully, I was quite lucky for this one, and there's a good chance you'll be lucky too. When you headshot the whiz robes, you don't have ice arrows yet, so you can't one-shot them at the moment. But if you headshot them, as you see over there, they'll actually just fall helplessly down to the bottomless pit, and that's that. Total curtains for them. Again, just using whatever I can, and of course you guys remember the rule, using a two-handed weapon will instantly break a crate or barrel, and that's what I'm going to be using to gather any supplies. So yeah, we get ourselves the spiked Boko bow as well. And we just have to clear out this one last whiz robe, and thankfully we have the bullet time. Plenty of time to line up that headshot and then just finish it off. So the reason why I find that the medium trials or the beginner trials are easier is because the weapons that they give you aren't complete garbage. That's basically the reason why. It was funny, for those of you guys that watched the stream, I actually died at this part on this floor very quickly, and it's just as well because I completely screwed up the second floor. So the first thing I wanted to do was just immediately go here, start headshotting people, because the thing that killed me were the bomb arrows that this guy had. I wanted to kill these guys as soon as possible, and you can see over there I'm just missing headshot after headshot after headshot. It was awful. But yeah, again, all the crates in this area have the arrows that you want. There's also a treasure chest, as you can see over here. Like he's floating on this platform that this guy was on. Pop 2 of the balloons and you'll let the treasure down, just like I let that guy down. The thing is though, it does cost 2 arrows to do, and I'll be honest with you guys, I actually have no idea what it is inside of that treasure chest, so if you guys want to let me know what that is, go ahead, but in my opinion, it's not worth wasting the 2 arrows on. Again, just quick reminder, general rule, when it comes to Trial of the Sword, and really Breath of the Wild's combat in general, 1v1, you win, 2v1, it's tough. So, this is the first Guardian, and I'm gonna just be really frank with you guys, I suck at parrying, and the thing is, when it comes to parrying lasers, and the tips that I know, in terms of having the perfect distance, yeah, that doesn't happen until like much later, when it's riskier to actually go for the parry attempts. And the thing is though, you don't have to be a parry god to win Trial of the Sword, okay? Like, I am absolute garbage at parrying, and it shows. Like, basically the best thing to do is just shoot them in the eye, and then it'll cause them to be dazed and they'll stop aiming at you for a while, and then follow it up with your attacks. You have more than enough equipment on any instance of Trial of the Sword. You will have more than enough equipment to just wail away on them using the attack button. So yeah, don't be afraid of that, guys. So yeah, these treasure chests, they have some good things. There are Hylian trousers, as well as a knight's broadsword and a falcon bow. So yeah, if you guys want that, that's there for you. As you can see here, I'm actually just building up some stuff. I got 3 iron shrooms now, thanks to one of the rooms and the ones that are growing beneath the tree. And I get myself a sick tier 3 defense boost, and that should come in handy. And if you guys want that as well, it's definitely more power to you. So, you guys probably won't believe me, but there is actual gameplay happening in this part. This part is really tricky. Like, it's a fun challenge, but it is the part that I do dread having to do, and I'm glad I've never had to do a repeat of this section. But yeah, the entire place is pitch black. The only sources of light that you can get are from your bombs and from a torch. It's kind of like the Typhlo ruins back in the overworld, and I decided that, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna use arrows on these guys because yeah, I just didn't want to deal them with the bombs or anything like that. I actually had no idea what to expect, and that's the nice twist about this area, is that you can't see the enemies, so you can't know how many are on the floor until you beat it. But thankfully, once you beat it, light. Let there be light. So another interesting thing about these rooms as well is that they've tweaked it so that you can't see enemies while you're activating the stasis. I tried using it here, and you can only use stasis when they're in range, and you kind of have to guess where they are in the dark to actually use it on them. There are 2 Lizalfos that you have to deal with in this room, and again, general rule, always try to get them alone, isolate them as best as you can. Yeah, thanks to that defense boost, I only took a 1/4 of a heart. I'm pretty sure, like, I can't tell what color these Lizalfos are, but usually it would be like 2 hearts worth of damage, I believe. But yeah, just again, take your time, focus on them one by one, and then the next thing we're going to do, I believe I actually blow up the cave that's over here. But before I do that, I believe there's one more Lizalfos I have to deal with. But yeah, like I've actually deliberately extended the length of this clip. I didn't cut it very much because I wanted you guys to have a better understanding of the layout of this area. It's literally just the place from the beginner trials, but with the lights turned out. Oh, and also I decided to use a fire arrow to fight them, but I decided we're gonna use a normal arrow. Yeah, so also remember there's a lot of resourcefulness that you can employ as well. Use a normal arrow, dip it into a torch, and then that's you. This guy comes for me. Trying to get him by himself, but yeah, thankfully they like to rush in. So again, you're getting close, stasis if you have it, and again, because it is Trial of the Sword, glyphs on your Sheikah slate, when you upgrade them, they do stick around, so you don't have to worry about losing them. The only thing that is restricted are your champion's powers, which are all automatically disabled. Yeah, just gotta clear up for this guy. Yeah, and again, I had to draw out this scene just so you guys could have a better idea of how the layout of the map is if you were doing this for the first time. I didn't want to confuse you guys. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to climb up here, get my airtime, and try to go for a headshot in the dark. Now, the nice thing about this cave is that there's a lot of great equipment to be getting, particularly a flame blade. I actually never used it, but it is a very useful item to have since it sets enemies on fire and opens them up for more hits. The damage is pretty good as well. Forest Dwellers, as well as the Strengthened Lizalbo, which I am definitely going to be equipping. So, this room is pretty interesting. Again, it is dark, but thankfully, you can see the glow of your Bokoblin enemy's eyes, so I decided to use that to my advantage to pinpoint where the head is, and hopefully my aim doesn't completely suck for this segment. Again, just jump off, get your bullet time, trying to line up the headshots as best you can, pick them off one by one. Yeah, and because I took out those 2 guys, those two guys that I shot, they both had the same eye color, so I made these something they were both blue Bokoblins, and this is a black Bokoblin, so he'll definitely have more health because his eyes were a slightly different shade of red. I freaked out a little bit because I didn't realize I would actually aggro the Wizrobe, so I had to quickly take this guy down as quickly as I could immediately. so that I wouldn't get rushed by 2 people. Also, in the off chance that this guy summons his bats. So I'm just trying to figure out where he's going. Again, line up a headshot, you'll keep him stunned for once. It's way easier than the beginning trials, because in the beginning of trials, there was water blocking you off. It was awful. That was just not a pleasant experience at all, but I'm glad we were able to overcome that one back in that video, because it just goes to show that even in the worst scenarios, you can still overcome them. Yeah, this guy also has a lot of health as well. Like, that was the funny thing about the Wizrobes. I didn't have ice arrows at the time, I believe. So I kind of had to do this all the old-fashioned way. But thankfully, he goes down. This is a pretty good area. I'm going to show off in the rest of this clip where to go, because there's quite a bit of good stuff. I believe there's also, yeah, there's mighty bananas, very, very useful items to have. And the enemy's weapons are available as well that they left behind in their encampment. So yeah, get yourself the Dragon Bone Boko Club, Boko Bat, a seared steak, because why not? That's half my total health. And of course there's also like a normal broadsword, bunch of arrows. This is just basically the part where you start to stock up. Thankfully you don't have to be as stingy with your stuff, because again, the thing about the medium trials is that they give you a lot of stuff. So this one is a Guardian in the Dark. I wasn't sure if there were additional enemies, but this is the only enemy you have to fight against to beat this floor, so this is pretty easy. I just tried to make my way here, always trying to hide behind something. The thing about Guardians, I'll touch on this a little bit more in the next video, since Guardians are more pertinent in that one. But basically, yeah, you have to have some sort of obstruction from their view, and then wait a couple of seconds, otherwise they'll just resume as normal, but then if you wait a couple of seconds, they'll reset the charge time. So yeah, what I did, I took a two-handed weapon. I love using two-handed weapons on Decayed Guardians. See all those double hits? It's fantastic. The DPS is just out of this world. So yeah, that's one Guardian down, relatively easy. And again, you don't have to worry about parrying. I could have parried in this one, I think. It's just that I wasn't looking forward to going through all the dark areas of this section. And finally, this is the last dark room of the Trial of the Sword, and it's against a Hinox. I believe it's a black Hinox, because it seems to have more health than a blue Hinox. And essentially what I did is that I just tried to find a vantage point, and just like before, I mainly spammed arrows. You'll see shortly what I did. I got a vantage point up here, and decided to aggro him from far away. And the thing about having the vantage point is that you have all the time in the world to aim, and it seems kind of, like, you know, it seems kind of dumb or scrubby to do something like that. But the thing is, though, is that I have such a disadvantage because it's dark. Like, you know, a boss where you have to aim, and they turn out the lights, and they get rid of your sight, you might as well use these scrubby things. So again, I found a high point, and I went for the bullet time, fired a couple of arrows before landing, regaining the stamina, climbing back up, and then I think I fire a couple at him. Nah, I just wait for him to get back up, and just repeat the process over and over and over again until I get that that critical sound, and just continuously repeat that process. This took quite a bit of time, but this was the safest, and we had more than enough arrows. This floor, or this level of Trial of the Sword, is very generous with the arrows, especially in comparison to last time. Now, from what I understand, there are actually quite a few goodies that are found here, I believe. Or, oh no, maybe there weren't any. Nope, okay, we just go on ahead. So again, I learned from my mistake, decided to get my fairies, and sneak around. You get 2 fairies. When it comes to Trial of the Sword, you actually cap at 3 fairies. You can't have more than 3 fairies. And yeah, I'm just going to show you guys what's in these boxes so that you guys can also plan accordingly. I get my mighty bananas, and I think eventually I do cook them into a recipe for an attack boost, but I don't believe I ended up using it. Or maybe I did, but it was like a 1-tier attack boost. Either way, yeah, you get yourself the Hylian Tunic, and the Forest Dweller Spear and Sword. So yeah, those are definitely something that you guys might want. And we're in the final stretch, just like that. This is way easier, you guys. This was so much easier. But the nice thing about this, though, we are using the reinforced Lazalbo, and arrows just one-shot each of these little guys. Like, they're such a non-issue, really. It's just a shooting gallery, basically. That's all it is, just a shooting gallery. You know, I go around. like, I keep thinking that, like, I'd have to fight them, but then the first time I did this, I was thinking to myself I should just rush them, but then I found myself getting shot ceaselessly by these guys. Inside of the treasure chest are more arrows, hurrah! much more arrows. There's so many arrows in this level, I love it. So this is basically a trial of the bow at this point, and that's why I find this floor, or this tier of challenge, that much easier. So, floor 13, we're almost done. There are 3 Guardian Scouts that you get to fight against. If you have stasis, these guys are as good as dead, essentially. They stay in stasis for so long, get free hits, and they drop weapons which are essential for the next 2 floors. So as you can see over here, I'm just going around searching for them. I noticed that there was a movable block inside of that wall. I got excited. I've never seen that, but yeah, I just take out this guy first, and I want that axe, that ancient battle axe, very useful for the next floors. And I use magnesis to pull out this block, and I find a duplex bow. I never used the duplex bow. I don't like it very much because the damage is just okay, despite the fact that it's a double shotter, and the durability is actually quite low. As I just locate the last one. These guys are quite spaced out from each other, so you don't have to worry about finding them all at once. But if you do, just get a 2-handed weapon and spin to death. They actually can't do much to you if you just continuously spin around, because they constantly have to be looking at you. But yeah, these guys are quite easy, really. Like, this take a bunch of hits, but there are hits and durability points that you have to spend, right? So, yeah. Otherwise, I don't know of any additional treasures on this floor, so we just move on. Alright, so every Guardian that you see on the top platforms, on the higher platforms, there's 4 of them, and they're all the ones that you can one-shot. So yeah, that's something that you can easily get out of the way. The ones that are on the ground level are the ones that we were fighting against earlier with stasis. I completely forgot about that. I thought I could just shoot them like that. You have 2 choices. You could fight them like normal, or try to push them into the water, and they will drown and die instantly. And since they have Guardian weapons, the weapons just float up, so you don't even have to worry about using magnesis or losing the Guardian weapons, because you do need them. Like, you actually do need them. The game is trying to make sure that you have these Guardian weapons, because they are a requirement for the final challenge. So again, I actually do push this guy, or else I attempt to. I was so excited. I thought I was able to push him in, but I actually do push this guy in, I believe, but it took a little bit longer. It didn't take me that instant hit like I thought it would. And I'm trying to mull over which one I'm supposed to be choosing. Yeah, I'm kind of just going over which weapon I want to use. I decided now I was going to stick with the spear instead. And yeah, as you can see, the Guardian Shield and Sword floats. And the guys just insta-die, which is awesome. So, this is the second to last floor in the middle trials, and yeah, this is pretty interesting. So, I highly recommend, yeah, stasis one of them, and then headshot the other one, so now you've crowd controlled both of them, and then take out an Ancient Battle Axe and spin to win. Just keep a good lookout for the people that you see there, and continuously spin towards their right, because that gives you a chance to double hit them. You could also lure them down to here, and if you have a fire arrow or a meteor rod, which you should, because we killed a whiz rope earlier, you could burn them to death. Also, these guys can hit each other with their laser attacks, so that was pretty funny. I was not expecting that, but it happens. So, these guys are actually not that bad. It's very intimidating at first, I'll admit, but yeah, like, they're pretty simple since they do give you the equipment that does counter them. And finally, the Guardian Scouts, or the Shrine Guardians, made famous by trials of major strength. Now, the thing about these guys is that I've actually done a video on them not so long ago, but just a primer. Since this guy uses only weapon types, the vertical slashes can be dodged through horizontal leaps, so jumping from left to right. You have to wait a second before doing so you can get the perfect dodge. But if he's using the spear, you can also sidestep that one as well. And you have to do it as soon as you see the attack, because that attack comes out fast. And finally, there is the axe swing. The axe swing is an interesting attack because it's kind of slow, and you might find that you're dodging it too early. But in my opinion, it's better that you dodge it too early than you dodge it too late, because that does a lot of damage. But yeah, the thing is though, you have guardian weapons, and guardian weapons do extra damage against these guys. So yeah, they just want to make sure that you can beat this, essentially. So that you can see the final floor, which I think is the one they put the most work in, the developers, I mean. So again, stasis also works on these guys. You get a healthy amount of stasis on them. And now he's going to go for the spinning attack. Now you have a couple of choices. You could just jump over them and then do a plunging attack, but I decided to just spam away. Oh, I did use the duplex bow. Awesome. So yeah, spam away with your arrows and they'll stop that way as well. And again, stasis, you get a lot of damage off on this guy. And again, when it comes to using two-handed weapons, usually going around their right side is where you're able to double hit them. Sorry, your left, your right, their left. That's the place where you'd be able to do that. Yeah, again, I was so late. I actually crouched because I was so excited. I ended up pressing it down. So yeah, it's really, really quick in comparison to the sword, getting the perfect dodges for the spear. And I was going to use Ancient Battle Axe. Also, the final phase of fighting these guys, he kind of just stays in one spot, turns blue, and starts charging up. The thing is, all you have to do is just get in close and wail away on them. Because even, like, yeah, for me, I fought pretty nicely. This was a very, very good fight for me. But I've never seen it where people would just be wailing away on the guy during his blue phase, but then the attack would go through anyway. Most people end up killing him before he even has a chance to do it. That's how long it takes. So yeah, that is the last floor of the middle trials. Much, much easier. And we are now heading into the final trials, which are pretty exciting. I cannot wait to show you guys strategies for beating those ones. And overall, this is going to be the easiest one. The medium trials, or the middle trials, definitely the easiest in my opinion, and you can see why. Anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video where we go for the final trials, and we'll get that fully upgraded Master Sword. Anyways, guys, take care. See you next time.